It's a very good job that I don't get seasick, because being in that boiling hot engine room while we're chucking around like that, yeah, I mean, very good job. I would not want to have been seasick in there, as well as everything else.
And welcome aboard Fair Isle. We have had a rough couple of weeks.
Yeah, but we're still floating. The sun is shining just about now, so it's all good.
It's all about the light and shade of sailing. I hope you like the film.
Coming up, dolphins, lovely dolphins. They make my day. Exploring Alero, a jewel in the crown of Sardinia. And the weather. Ever changeable, catches us out again. And this is where we start our journey. The predicted weather is for light wind, no rain and mild swell. As it turns out, not quite. We are leaving Calacita on the southern coast of Sardinia for the trip up to Alero, which is about 90 miles. There are very few places to stop on the coastline with the wind coming from the west, but it is supposed to be light and sea conditions good, so we plan a couple of short hops. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is our first mistake.
Well, the wind's gone, but swell certainly hasn't. We're heading towards this island stroke rock. I don't think there's really any shelter in it. I think we're either going to have a very rough passage, keep going forward, or turn back and come back where we came from. It's one of those days.
And the closer we get, the less inviting this stopover looks. A deep anchorage and no real protection from the swell, which is getting quite unpleasant.
Well, we've made the decision that we are going to turn around, which has the added delight of the wind and the rain coming into the cockpit, because now I'm going from behind.
Yeah, but it's basically 9 hours slog that way with no wind. Wouldn't mind if we could sail it, but you really can't.
No.
2 hours back, so yeah, I mean, it's a no-brainer really, isn't it, with that?
It is.
We don't know what's going to happen.
It is a bit disappointing, but you know, blue skies and lovely wind tomorrow, no doubt.
Yeah, right.
It just makes no sense. Anyway, that's what we've decided to do.
Yeah.
It's not often we have to turn around, and it feels like a bad omen. Well, it turns out there is more bad luck to come. First, there's a problem with the fan belts.
So yeah, to add to our woes, because we've got no wind and we're motoring back.
We're not motoring now, because we've switched off.
Yeah, we're just really being thrown around. I use these, which I like, Nutlink. Don't like them so much at the moment because I actually, this morning before we left, tightened these up because I noticed they was a little bit looser than they should be. And I tightened them more than I normally do. And I think it's stretched them because one's come off and the other one's looking just odd and stretched, and it's not driving the alternator as it should, so we're not getting the charge. So I've got the joy of trying to do this, being in the engine room while we're bobbing around like this.
You get a sense of how bobby it is. Yep, that bobby.
Yeah.
Really, and it started to rain again as well.
Yeah.
This is not a great day, that's one way of putting it. I would say it's the worst day sailing ever.
Yeah.
There's one other thing that's gone wrong as well.
Yeah. I'll let you talk about that.
Okay. The dinghy. Stupidly, we were dragging the dinghy because we thought there'd be no wind and we're only going a short distance. And in the Med, that's what you do, you drag your dinghy occasionally. You'd have thought we'd have learnt our lesson having lost a dinghy, but no, we didn't. And yeah, we didn't lose it, but it's a little bit bashed up and it will need some major repairs if it is repairable. Oh dear.
The transom has lost a couple of screws, which is fixable. But more important, you may notice the interior floor has dropped out. That really is quite serious. Meanwhile, back in the engine room, some good news. The fan belt is fixed.
It's a very good job that I don't get seasick, because being in that boiling hot engine room while we're chucking around like that, yeah, I mean, very good job. I would not want to have been seasick in there, as well as everything else. But yeah, it's done, they're on. I think they might be a little bit stretched. I've got enough to make another one, so I'll do that when we get in for a new one on. But we're getting 78 amps in at the moment, seems to be doing it. But yeah, the lesson is don't over tighten them. I think I've never come across that before, because I've had a problem this morning when I was a bit loose. I thought, well, I've just been a little bit tighter than I normally would, and I think it's just stretched them. Yeah, they just sort of pop out a little bit and then come off. So yeah, hopefully it'll stay.
And our house bank is back up to 33%. Phew. The next day we have some good wind, so we set off again.
So we are now bowling along under full sail after our aborted attempt yesterday. I think it was the right thing to do though, wasn't it? Abort yesterday?
It was, because they went from this storm wind to no wind, and that's a lesson to us really. You think, oh, you've got wind, but in fact you haven't, you've just got the storm. Yeah. And when that stopped we had nothing, and so we weren't going anywhere. Yeah,
it's just wind from a thunderstorm, wasn't it? Yeah. And then of course that goes and you're just left with swell, so it's horrible. So I mean, we just wouldn't have got to where we needed to go before dark, because there's nothing on this coastline for shelter apart from one spot, which is about a 5-hour sail away. We've got the same conundrum today though, haven't we? Because we're not doing great speed, because we're bashing into the swell and the wind's coming directly from where we want to go. So tacking up probably won't get us there. So
I think there's been a new mindset really, which is rather than saying, oh my goodness, we're not going to get to this stop in time, it's to say, let's just go up to where we're going ultimately.
Final destination, yeah, so just sail overnight, just keep going. Yeah. If you don't get there in the day, just don't worry about it, keep going.
Exactly, and just go with the wind.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, it's a very difficult coast, there's no two ways about it. Any coast where there are very few places that you can hide, you have to bite the bullet, I think.
Yeah.
And just think hiding is a bonus, and getting there is the important thing. So we looked at the wind this morning. Today is the best day for wind, albeit in completely the wrong direction. But it didn't get any better, and even by the weekend, today is Thursday, even by the weekend it was either in the wrong direction again or nothing.
Yeah, I think if there was more to see, more to do down south, then we might have taken that decision, because we're in no rush really. Could have waited a week for better weather, but yeah, it's better to get going. We want to get up to Alero and we need to carry on, so yeah, let's just push on through the swell.
And it's just quite bouncy, but with the sails up it's a lot better. Yeah. Yesterday motoring back was just miserable.
Yeah, it was, yeah. So a better day's sailing, but not without its issues. My earlier attempts to fix our failing mainsail needs a few adjustments. So yeah, a bit of an error there. That's always a problem when you're trying to do things with the sail down. Load this back on and it's the wrong side. All the reefing lines, so you have to take them all out, put them around the other side. There's no way around it.
And then we see dolphins. Only a few of them, and they seem to be heading off somewhere.
Hey! Woo!
Sadly, we've got to stop watching dolphins and tack, because there's a massive, massive net in front of us. They love these massive nets out here. It's about 2 miles long.
From a distance, it looked to us like seagulls sitting on the water. But here it is on the Navionics map. This is a permanent structure of white buoys holding nets. Incredible. It stretches 1.5 miles out to sea, and we have to make a detour to avoid it.
I like to think these dolphins came along just to warn us that that net was there.
They did.
I think that's what they did. Well, they came along and said, look, you're heading towards a bloody great big net. They're very clever.
But actually I think they came because there might be fish in there. I love dolphins.
Whatever the reason, it's always lovely to see dolphins. By the evening, everything calms down enough for us to make an anchor stop after all and talk to Jeremy from Precision Sales. This is our planned consultation, so quite an important Zoom call to fine-tune the design of our new mainsail.
Velcro tends to just get a little bit tired after a while, doesn't it? And it doesn't hold the battens just in the right position. And for ours especially, if the batten then just comes back slightly beyond the leach of the sail, that tends to catch on the lazy jacks as you're pulling it up. So explain your system here. What have you got here? Because this looks really interesting.
Yeah, so what this is a tie-in batten pocket with a Velcro cover. So we don't rely on the Velcro to actually provide support to the batten. The tension on the batten is induced by pulling this flap towards into the batten. And the nice part about it is that you can adjust it depending on what the winds are. So if you're going to be running in particularly light winds for the next little bit, and you want to induce more sail shape so that your sail's not constantly having to reinitialize, you can then pull harder on the little Daniela line here, more shape into the sails and support the batten better.
So we just put it down, take some hose, put some tape in it.
And while we are thinking about upgrades, we decide to measure our bed for our new mattress, which is coming from Artisan's Custom Mattress in Michigan. They specialise in marine mattresses, so all we have to do is mark up the plastic template they sent us. Easy. And then send it off. We hope the new mattress will be ready to deliver to us in Spain. It is a lovely morning in the anchorage. Sun is shining. Not too hot yet, but there's very little breeze, so it's probably going to get into the 30s, I think, today. If you go and have a look at the beach over there, people are already swimming, and behind the beach there is a river. So we thought it would be a good day for kayaking. Balsa is a town just up the river from the beach, and it makes for a gentle couple of hours paddling. It's pretty quiet. The town itself is quite busy, but rather than spend time looking around, we opt for some lunch by the quayside. Pasta, of course. Homemade and excellent. The next day we reach Alero, where we plan to spend a day or two.
So we're off on our errands here in Alero. Got all the laundry. There is a laundrette here, pay laundrette, so that's good. I'm just going to show you the state of the bottom of our dinghy. This is my new floor, my repair. I've just basically got the deflated stand-up paddleboard down there, sort of folded over, but it does the job for now. We're looking into other dinghies. We can get stuff around here, but it's just not as good as the True Kit dinghy. We don't really want to be without our True Kit dinghy, do we?
No, love our True Kit dinghy. It's exactly the right size, exactly. I don't know, it's just, and it's very, very stable. I can get in it easily. Yeah. Having said that, I'm getting in it now.
Okay, let's film that, yeah. Judy's notorious for not really getting in dinghies easily. Let's see. Woo! Oh yeah, look at that. That's a good attempt.
There we are.
That's a good attempt. So we do need a stable dinghy. I don't know, if we can possibly get another True Kit dinghy, we will certainly do that, because, yeah, we love it, but we'll see what we can find.
They come from New Zealand. Yeah. That's part of the problem. Yeah. Anyway, we're on a mission and we have a Heath Robinson result.
Alero is a proper seaside town with a long promenade and a couple of marinas.
You can see the size of the marina over here. It's absolutely huge. we're anchored over the back there. But it's lovely, isn't it?
It's very pretty, very warm today. Everyone's just sitting around in the shade if they possibly can, including us when we're not actually walking in the sunshine.
Yeah, there's little cobbled streets which are really nice, but this promenade's pretty open. Very pretty. We'll go down and into the old town.
The ramparts date back to the 13th century with an impressive line of cannons still intact. As well as a quite formidable trebuchet. The old town is famous for its churches and cobbled streets, and down one of these we find the laundry.
This is good.
Quite pretty, isn't it?
Anything you want? Perfect. €5. Bargain.
And while Steve concentrates on washing, I sneak off to find ice cream.
So we decided to have a special healthy diet where you don't have breakfast. Apparently it's Mr. Kellogg's that convinced us it's the most important meal of the day, and it isn't. So we fast in the morning, apart from Judy when she goes past an ice cream shop.
Look, every diet needs a day off. Everyone knows that.
It's going to get lots of pictures of you licking that ice cream now.
Lovely. I don't know why you don't want one. They're lovely. Do you want a bit?
No.
Well, you can't say I didn't offer.
Let me eat my ice cream in private. It's lovely. You'd love this salted caramel, your favourite.
Oh, it's salted caramel?
Yeah.
Oh, that's just mean. No. I'm sticking to our healthy diet. It's supposed to break the fast with protein, not ice cream.
What can I say? Life is too short and the ice cream is so good. In the evening, Alero comes to life. It's a little cooler and everyone has woken up from their siesta. We go out for a meal with some friends who got in touch after watching us on YouTube. One of the advantages we find of having the channel. There are numerous excellent restaurants, a seafood paradise. We choose a sea bass cooked in a salt crust, an Italian speciality, and truly delicious. The anchorages north of Alero are absolutely gorgeous, and if we can get up to the coastline, there's numerous hikes.
So there's a little beach here to land on, but it looks like a bit of a climb. What do you reckon?
It does.
We can't go too far because of our modified dinghy. Although it's doing rather well. But we've got good news on the dinghy front.
Yeah, we have. Thank you, True Kids. They have seen our woes and have decided to send one from New Zealand so we can pick it up in New Yorker.
Yeah.
So fantastic that we can get another True Kit because they are excellent dinghies and perfect for us.
Yeah, it costs a bit to send it from New Zealand, but it's definitely worth it because, yeah, they're definitely the best dinghies. I don't know if we're going to make this. Look.
No, we are not going to make it. I think we need to go a little bit further. That's not a hike, that's a climb. I'm not up for a climb.
Okay.
A hike. There must be a place around there. I'm sure there's another beach somewhere.
We'll go around a bit further. Found a proper beach.
Proper beach. And looks like a converted roundel.
Yeah, it's like what we would have as a Martello Tower. I don't know if it's from that time, Napoleon's era. Used to do round ones like that in England.
This is a beautiful region and still not too many tourists.
Well, I'm all up for this trail so far. A lovely walk through pine forest. Gorgeous. And just going back out to the sea now. I think a lot of this path's been eroded, so somebody has put piles of stones up to guide the way, which is just as well because
You'd really never know. After an hour or so, the trail disappears altogether, so we take a short detour into the forest. Eventually, we find a track.
I'm trying to fake it through the forest. It's not that easy. Of undergrowth. Oh, that could be a path.
No.
Yeah. Or is it just
God.
is it just a clearing? It's a wide bit. At any rate,
Is it a clearing or a path?
it's a path.
Oh,
Look at that.
heaven.
Actual path. We made it.
I think this is a cyclist trail because there's quite a few e-bikes around at the moment, and this would be perfect for them. The way we went was, I don't know, I just think a trail less trod nowadays. I think we ought to get some bikes next time.
Hello.
That's the way to do it, isn't it?
It certainly is. It's a delightful moment when you can take your shoes off. At last.
Oh, no, this is the moment though. Feet in the water. Yes, there's nothing like a really good foot spa.
Or a really long walk.
This will go hand in hand.
Yeah, they do. But I would like to find those electric bikes somewhere and have an inland trip. Maybe when we get to Mallorca.
There's
have a
all
look
sorts
inland.
of great
Yeah.
toys around nowadays. There's a guy around here that's going around with a foiling sailboard. It's not a proper sailboard because it doesn't go in the board. He sort of just holds the sail. But I definitely want to see if I can hire one of those. We're on our way to Mallorca, so we'll see what we can hire along the way.
Yeah, we will. And when we get there, we will meet our True Kit dinghy.
Dinghy, yeah, new dinghy, so that's very good.
Yeah,
Yes, thank you,
you.
True Kit, for getting that out really quickly.
Yeah.
It's already arrived in Mallorca. We've got a friend there that's going to take it in first. You've got to do the usual paperwork for VAT
Customs
and
and
things,
things,
customs.
yeah.
But yeah, that'll go through, and then we'll have that. And they've got a really new, really good new design of seat on that, because it's got a bag underneath it that's completely waterproof. So great for our camera gear and stuff, so looking forward to that. It's
Yeah,
good. And we
yeah.
will look after this one. We do abuse our dinghies massively. I mean, that did really well, that True Kit dinghy, the abuse it took. We will try and look after this one a bit more.
Yeah, I think so. But we do use it every day. I mean, I think
Yeah.
that's the thing. When you're anchoring,
Yeah.
we've had it for 3 years. We've
Yeah.
used it pretty much every day. And
right through the winter in
Yeah,
Venice, it was
exactly.
like that, because we were just using it. We were getting our shopping in it all the time in Turkey and in Montenegro. Last year it was there, and it got a few beaten up in a few storms in Montenegro. So it did do really well, that dinghy.
yeah, no, definitely. But we also want to talk about the sail consultation, because that's really useful. It's a good 2-hour session with Jeremy where we went through really the minutiae detail of sails.
That's the good
It was
thing
stunning.
about it, really, is it's not just to sort of send your stuff off and get a sail measured and sent. You can just have the consultation, and you can go through what's specific to you, you know, what you
Yeah,
want and what's
exactly.
good, and then can just come up with good ideas, and you can throw things backwards and forwards. So we will do a little special video on that. If we can manage to get to Annapolis this year, because we're trying to sort of work that in, we might do another interview with them there. We did one last year about designing our Yankee, but we'll do a similar thing hopefully on the mainsail as well, because it's a lot of people just tie themselves in knots about what they can and can't do, and what's good and what's not, and they're great at just making it easy.
But we are on our way now, ultimately, to the Canaries by the end of the year, where we'll lift the boat and do a lot of things that are sort of adding up now. One thing that didn't come in this video is that our fridge broke.
Yes,
we just thought we
a few
couldn't
days
tell you
ago.
all the awful things in one go. It would just be too dreadful. So we have actually been travelling without a fridge, but we have got a freezer.
Yeah.
But no, the fridge is annoying because we have had it fixed twice now.
Regassed, there's a leak, so I've got to find that and then
Yeah.
get it properly fixed. It's always hottest time of of the year, sod's law, and things like that will go down. But we've got ice in our freezer for the gin and tonic, so all is not lost.
Is that right? Okay, fine. Well, that's the end of this episode. Thank you very much to our patrons, and thank you to our subscribers. And do think of becoming a patron if you like us and if you want to find out a little bit more about behind the scenes.
And keep things going. We
Yes,
rely on our
true.
patrons to keep this going, and they do a really good job. So
They do, yeah.
thank you to all of our patrons.
And subscribers, and thank you for watching.